You do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Good morning. I'm sorry. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Before we get any further, can you pull the microphone as close to your face as possible and keep your voice into the microphone as much as possible?
Okay, is this better?
Yes. Can you please state your name?
My name is Garrick Baligod.
Okay. Mr. Baligod, what's your occupation?
I'm an evidence specialist with the Honolulu Police Department
How long have you been employed by HPD?
for 19 years.
And what was your assignment on March 24, 2025?
My assignment was to report to the Queens Medical Center ER to take photographs of a person.
I'm going to take a step back. In general, what are your duties as an evidence specialist?
Okay. My duties as an evidence specialist are to recover evidence, to take photographs, and to pencil and sketch diagrams.
Okay, and you mentioned that you were assigned to respond to Queens Medical Center.
Yes,
Is the Queens Medical Center in the city and county of Honolulu, state of Hawaii?
yes it is.
And what specific location of the Queens Medical Center did you respond to?
The punch bowl location, the emergency room.
What time did you arrive to the Queens Medical Center punch bowl emergency room?
Approximately 11:50 in the morning.
And you mentioned earlier you were assigned to take photographs. Who were you assigned to take photographs of?
I was assigned to take photographs of Ms. Arielle Konig
What time did you start taking the photographs at the ER?
at approximately 1:40, 1:50 p.m.
And how long did you have to wait before taking the photographs?
We had to wait about 2 hours.
Why did you have to wait about 2 hours to start photographing?
Objection. Calls for hearsay, Vox Foundation.
If you know why did you have to wait 2 hours?
We had to wait because there was no room available for her.
All right. Mr. Baligod, I'm going to approach with Exhibits State 22 through State 28. I'm going to show them to Defense Counsel as well. May I approach the witness? You may. Mr. Baligod, I've just handed you what's been marked as States Exhibit 22 through 28 inclusive. Could you take a look through those exhibits, and when you're done looking through them, can you look up? Okay. Are you finished?
Yes,
Okay. Do you recognize what these exhibits are that I've just handed you?
yes I do.
What are these?
These are photographs taken of Ms. Arielle Konig.
Okay. In the time that you saw Ms. Konig on March 24th, 2025, were you able to familiarize yourself with the condition she was in?
Yes,
Were you able to familiarize yourself with any injuries that you could see?
yes,
These exhibits, State 22 through State 28, did you take all of these photographs yourself directly?
no,
Okay. Despite that, do these photographs fairly and accurately depict Arielle and her injuries as you observed them on March 24th, 2025?
yes.
The state now moves
Well, Your Honor,
exhibits.
Can I approach? Please. Okay, come on up. Inclusive, receive into evidence.
And Your Honor, permission to publish.
Granted.
Mr. Baligod, I'm going to put the photos up on the screen next to you in order, 22 through 28. As I put them up, can you describe what each photo depicts?
Yes.
All right, now publishing States Exhibit 22. Could you describe for us what this photo is depicting?
States Exhibit 22 is an image of the face of Ms. Arielle Konig.
And I'm going to zoom in on the top right of this. What does the top right of Arielle's head depict?
On the top right of the image, which is on the top left of her head, is an injury to the head and scalp area.
And I'm going to now zoom in on.
Your Honor, I apologize. Can we approach again, please?
Zoom in on an area on the left-hand side of the State's Exhibit 22 right now. Can you describe what we're seeing in this portion of State's Exhibit 22?
On the left side of the image, which is on the right side of her face, there is reddish brown blood-like stains near her eye and above her
Your
eyebrow.
Honor, the photo speaks for itself. I object, he can describe that he took it. Other than that, it speaks for itself in terms of his, I object, he's, not an expert in injuries.
Okay, I understand. Overruled. You can continue.
I'm going to go back to the full-size photo. Okay, and we're going to move on now, Mr. Baligod, to State's Exhibit 23.
Sorry, what number?
23.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Baligod, what does State's Exhibit 23 show?
State's Exhibit 23 shows the upper left portion of Ms. Konig's head with a wound on that upper left part of her scalp.
I'm going to open an area in the middle of the photo right now. What does this portion from the middle of the photo show?
That portion from the middle of the photo shows the injury to her scalp.
Okay, I'm going to go back to
And
the
again,
full
Your Honor,
photo.
I'm going to object. I'm going to object. Can we approach?
Sure, come on up.
Okay, Mr. Baligod, we're going to move on now to State's Exhibit 24. What does State's Exhibit 24 show?
State's Exhibit 24 shows a out-of-focus view of the top of Ms. Konig's head.
I'm going to move on now to State's Exhibit 25. Now, what does State's Exhibit 25 show?
State's Exhibit 25 shows another view of Ms. Konig and the top of her head.
Okay. What happened to the hair in this, if you know?
Objection. Your Honor, Lax Foundation calls for speculation and...
Just name.
Excuse me? Oh, sorry.
Do you know what's different about this photo?
Yes, I do.
What's different?
The medical professionals...
Your Honor, this, again, the same objection. Hearsay,
Well, this one, he's CPA foundation. Go ahead. So sustain for now. So lack of foundation. Go
Okay,
ahead.
Mr. Baligod, you said you know what's different about this photo. Is that from your direct observations or from what somebody told you?
Not what from somebody told me, from what I observed.
Okay, so from what you observed, what is different about this photo?
Medical professionals removed her hair so that we could see the injury better.
Now publishing State's Exhibit 26. Mr. Baligod, what does this exhibit show?
State's Exhibit 26 shows again Ms. Konig with the injury to her top of the head with hair removed, and a scale is placed to show the size of the injury.
Okay. Can you say there's a scale placed to show the size of the injury. Who placed the scale there?
I did. That is my hand.
Okay. I'm going to zoom in on the scale in your hand, and at least the top portion of the injury. Okay. What does the marks on the scale represent?
The marks are in millimeters.
Thank you. I'm going to move on now to State's Exhibit 27. What does State's Exhibit 27 show?
State's Exhibit 27 is the back of her left hand.
Okay. The back of whose left hand?
Excuse me, Ms. Konig's left hand.
And States Exhibit 28. What does States Exhibit 28 show?
States Exhibit 28 shows the back of Ms. Konig's left hand with a scale placed to show size of injuries.
I'm going to zoom in, or get a closer look at the top middle of this photo. What is depicted in this portion of the photo?
Injuries that are on the back of the index, the finger, the back of the thumb, the back of the middle finger with the scale showing in millimeters the injury of Ms. Konig.
All right, we're going to move on a little bit in time, Mr. Baligod. In addition to taking photographs and observing Arielle Konig on March 24, 2025, did you collect any other evidence in this case?
On March 24th?
In general?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What evidence did you collect?
I recovered Ms. Konig's clothing.
Later on in the case, did you collect any other evidence?
Yes, I did.
So what did you collect later on?
On March 25th, we reported back to the Queen's Hospital, and I got a DNA reference sample, or what is called a buccal swab, from Ms. Konig.
I want to ask about the buccal swab from Ms. Konig. And you also referenced it as a DNA reference sample. Could you just explain what that is for us?
Okay. A DNA reference sample is a known sample of a person, and that known sample can either be blood or a sample from the person's inner mouth called the buccal area. And that buccal area is the known sample of a person that is used to reference against or tested against unknown samples.
Can you describe for us how you're trained to collect a buccal swab sample?
Training is done at the office when we first start. That's one of our first tasks we learn to do. So a buccal swab or swabbing is using a sterile swab to swab the inner cheeks of a person, and then that swab is placed in a sealed envelope, and then it's sealed with tamper-proof tape and submitted to the HPD evidence room.
Before you take the swab, is there any procedure you follow?
We take an identification photo of the person that we are doing the reference sample on.
I'm now going to approach with States Exhibit 128 for the defense. Okay, I'm going to approach now with what's been marked as States Exhibit 128. Do you recognize what I've just handed you?
Yes, I do.
What is this?
This is an identification photo of Ms. Konig that I took on March 25th prior to taking the DNA reference sample.
Okay. And does this photo fairly and accurately depict Ms. Konig as you observed her before taking the reference sample on March 25th, 2025?
Yes.
At this point, the state moves Exhibit 128 into evidence.
Mr. Otake,
No objection.
what is the mark for identification as States Exhibit 128 is received into evidence?
Going to publish States 128. All right, I'm going to take now States Exhibit 128 off the screen. All right, Mr. Baligod, what was the was the buccal swab that you recovered from Ms. Konig given an evidence item number?
Yes, it was.
What evidence item number was it given?
Item number 24.
Okay, and was that under HPD report 25-110958?
Yes.
And can you walk us through exactly how you took the buccal swab from Arielle?
Okay. So, again, sterile swabs are used. They're taken out of the package. We swab the inner cheeks, both the left and right side, to obtain the sample. It's sealed in a self-sealing envelope, then we seal it with evidence tape. We write up an evidence sheet, and then we submit it to the evidence room.
Okay. A couple follow-up questions. You said the packaging is self-sealing. What does that mean?
The envelope comes with self-sealing so that when we put the swab sample into the package, it has a removable tape that we seal over, and then it's considered closed and sealed. It's to keep it sterile or from being contaminated by anything else.
And then you mentioned evidence tape as well. Can you describe that?
Yeah. Evidence tape is tamper-proof tape that we use to make sure that envelope cannot be opened again without breaking the seal.
Okay. And what kind of evidence tamper-proof tape do you use?
We use the Honolulu Police Department evidence tape.
And for you yourself, do you have any specific color of tape you use?
We use the color of white and blue.
Okay. Is that for everybody at HPD or any specific section?
No, the different sections have their own colors of tape to show which section used or submitted evidence.
So which section has the white and blue tape?
The crime scene unit has white and blue.
And after you said you sealed the package with the evidence tape, in this case, what did you do with the tape?
So after the packaging is sealed, we sign and date it, and then we submit it to the evidence room.
Okay. How do you submit, or keep it specific to this one, how do you submit the packaging item number 24 in this case?
In this case, the evidence sheet is created with the sealed evidence, goes to the evidence room, and then an evidence custodian receives it.
Okay. And who did you give, which evidence custodian at the HPD evidence room did you give this item number 24 to?
To evidence custodian Lucia Gonzalez.
What is Lou Gonzalez's full first name?
Lucia.
Okay. From the time that you collected the buccal swab from Arielle to the time you gave it to Lucia Gonzalez at the HPD evidence room, was the swab in your sole custody and control?
Yes.
During that time, did you tamper with, alter, substitute, or destroy the contents of the package, item number 24, in any way?
No.
During that time that you were in that full custody and control, did you or anybody else open the self-sealing package at all?
No.
Did everything you testified to happen in the city and county of Honolulu, state of Hawaii?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions at this time. I'm going to retrieve the exhibits from the witness before. Please. And I'll hand them to the court clerk.
Mr. Otake, cross-examination.
Good morning, Mr. Baligod.
Good morning.
Just a few questions for you. You indicated that on March 24th, you went to the Queen's emergency room to attempt to obtain photographs of the complainant in this case, correct?
Correct.
And throughout your career, how long have you been an evidence specialist with
Coming
HPD?
up to 19 years.
19 years, okay. And from time to time in your 19 years as an evidence specialist with HPD, you've had to respond to the Queen's emergency room to take photographs of complainants, yes?
Yes.
And suspects as well, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So you've been there often to do that through the 19 years, I'd imagine, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So you indicated when you got to the Queen's emergency room, you had to wait for about 2 hours because there was no room available for her, correct?
Correct.
Meaning Miss Konig was actually out in the hallway, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So at the Queen's emergency room, following this incident, to your knowledge, the Queen's emergency department had her wait in a hallway for 2 hours before moving her to a room, correct?
She was in the hallway on a gurney.
Yeah. For 2 hours, right?
Yes.
In your experience, going to the emergency rooms through the 19 years, have you heard of triage, where they give rooms to the more critical patients first?
Yes.
Now, sir, the prosecutor went over some of the photos with you that you took that day, and you gave some commentary about injuries on the thumb and scalp and things like that. You're not a medical professional, are you?
No.
Okay. And you take the photos, and the photos look a certain way, and photos look bad, obviously, but medically speaking, you don't have qualifications to say how medically serious her injuries were or were not, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's better left to the Queen's doctors to talk about those things, yes?
Yes.
And as far as the manner or means of the injury, how many strikes and or whatever, you would agree that a medical, a forensic pathologist, medical doctor who specializes in examining injuries and coming up with opinions about means and manner, they would have more qualifications than you to do that, yes?
Objection, argumentative, and vague.
Overruled. You can answer.
You agree with that, right?
I agree. Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. No further questions.
Any redirect?
No, thank you.
Mr. Baligod, thank you. What's your first step?